Dash a network of savers, investors, financial assets, and financial institutions that work together to transfer savings to investment uses. Sharp thinking. Financial system is the right choice. A company posted an EPS of rupee 20 in the financial year 2021-22. The company's EPS is expected to increase by 20% next year. If the company's stock is currently trading at rupee 100, the forward P of the company is. You're right, 4.1 seen is the correct answer.
Identify the instrument of money market. It is used by commercial and development and financial institutions during the period when the deposit growth of a bank is slow, but the demand for credit is high.
Right choice. Certificate of deposits is the best answer. Suppose that many big corporations decide not to issue bonds, since it is now too costly to comply with new financial market regulations. What is the expected effect on interest rates? Smart pick. Interest rates might rise is the correct choice. Type of markets where the exchange is made with an agreement to buy or sell a particular commodity or security at a predetermined price at a specified time in the future. Well reasoned. Futures market is the correct choice.
What theory argues that stocks are always priced about right and bargains are hard to find because they are so closely watched by so many investors.
Nice selection. Efficient market hypothesis is the correct and valid answer. Stock exchange provides information to educate the people about investing in share markets. Which function of stock exchange is referred to here? Strong choice. Spreading equity cult is the right answer. Which committee of the Bank of England is responsible for promoting good practice and setting standards for operations for individual firms? Or? Well picked. Prudential Regulatory Authority is the correct answer. What is represent for A in the white circle? Correct. Financial intermediaries is the right answer. Which committee of the Bank of England is responsible for identifying, monitoring, and reducing systemic risks to the financial system? Nicely done. Financial Policy Committee is a solid answer. Debt instruments are issued by corporate houses are raising short-term financial resources from the money market are called DASH. Good thinking. Commercial paper is the right answer. Which of the following financial organizations specializes in buying installment contracts from merchants who sell on credit? Or? Exactly. A finance company makes sense and it is right choice. The technique of spreading funds over a large number of investments to reduce the portfolio's overall risk is known as. Great thinking. Diversification is the right choice. Which of the following performs the functions of giving inputs to saving and transfer them to more productive uses? Bravo. Financial market is the answer. Dinesh has 100 equity shares of a company. He wants to sell 500 of these shares. Which market should be approach? Solid response. A secondary market is a valid choice. Stocks or shares that are sold to investors without transacting through financial institutions are classified as. Right again. Direct transfer is a valid answer. The money market where debt and stocks are traded and maturity period is more than a year is classified as. Great job. Capital markets is the accurate answer. A non-profit service that accepts deposits, makes loans, and provides other financial services is known as a.
Correct response. Credit union is the most accurate answer.
Central banks support financial institutions and governments bailouts failing firms, which leads to dash. Perfect. Moral hazard is the correct choice.
What is crucially provided by central banks to help them achieve their objective of financial stability?
Good job. Your answer. Liquidity insurance works well here. Institutions such as banks that collect funds from savers that can be loaned to borrowers are known as. You got it. Your choice, financial intermediaries, is right.
Which of the following cannot be called as a debt instrument as referred to in financial transactions?
Excellent. Loans is a brilliant choice. Funds that collect and invest income until payments are made to eligible people are known as. Valid point. Pension funds is true. In primary markets, first-time issued shares to be publicly traded in stock markets is considered as. Clear logic. Your choice initial public offering is sound and 100% true. Which committee of the Bank of England is responsible for protecting consumers from unfair practices?
Well done. Financial Conduct Authority is the right choice.
Stocks or documents that represent a claim on the income and property of the borrower are known as.
Smart move. Financial assets is an accurate answer. Spot market is a market where the delivery of the financial instrument and payment of cash occurs. Excellent choice. Immediately is the right answer.
Dash a market in which all financial assets can be sold to someone other than the original issuer.
Nice work. You chose secondary market, and it is correct. Type of financial security which have linked payoff to another issued security is classified as. On track. Derivative security is the correct answer.
The network of savers, investors, financial institutions, and financial assets is known as the.
You chose financial system, and it is correct. Stock markets link the dash units with dash units. Excellent. Surplus deficit is a brilliant choice.
Financial contracts whose values are derived from the values of underlying assets is called.
Strong choice. Derivative securities is the right answer. Dash a market in which financial capital is loaned and or borrowed for at least 1 year. Correct. Capital market is the right answer. Dash a market in which only the original issuer can sell or repurchase a financial asset. Well done. Primary market is the right choice. Which of the following markets deal in securities with maturity of less than 1 year? You chose money market, and it is correct. Competition between financial institutions depends on the following criteria except. On track. Interest rate is the correct answer. Which of the following correctly describes the Securities and Exchange Commission? Smart pick. A federal agency that maintains fair and efficient markets is the correct choice. The short-term financial instruments traded in money market is commonly called. Nice selection. Commercial paper is the correct and valid answer. Which of the following is not a feature of speculation in financial markets? You got it? Your choice profit is right? Exchange markets and over-counter markets are considered as two types of. Well picked. Secondary market is the correct answer.
Types of market for intermediate or long-term debt and corporate stocks.
Bravo. Capital markets is the answer. Which type of financial organization is a non-profit service cooperative?
Exactly. Credit union makes sense and it is right choice.
Dash is the organizations, institutions that provide long-term funds. Great thinking. Capital market is the right choice. Companies that sell shares of a portfolio of securities are known as. Correct response. Mutual funds is the most accurate answer. Which among the following is not considered a financial institution? You're right. Revolving funds associations is the correct answer. The proportion of debt in the overall capital is also called dash. Sharp thinking. Financial leverage is the right choice. Which of the following is not a function of financial management?
Perfect. Determines the company's current share price is the correct choice.
A person who buys or sells equities for his or her clients is a.
Nice work. You chose stockbroker and it is correct.
The Securities and Exchange Commission is responsible for dash. Right choice. Regulating security markets and protecting investors is the best answer. The financial instrument which is related to money market is.
Valid point. Certificate of deposit is true.
Which of the following is included in the financial assets?
Good thinking. All the above is the right answer.
Which of the following is not a function of a central bank? Solid response. Implement fiscal policy is a valid choice. Which of the following is not a part of capital market? Clear logic. Your choice RB is sound and 100% true. Some of the key elements in the financial markets are. Right again. All of the mentioned options is a valid answer. Which of the following is the supply side of finance? Smart move. Financial institutions and insurance companies is an accurate answer. Payment made for the use of borrowed money is called. Good job. Your answer interest works well here. Instruments traded in capital markets are dash. Excellent choice. All of these is the right answer. Persons or institutions to whom money is owed. Great job. Creditors is the accurate answer. The short-term financial market is called the.
Well reasoned. The money market is the correct choice.
Which is the major part of financial system? Nicely done. All of above is a solid answer. Financial market facilitates business firms. Strong choice. To raise funds is the right answer. Participants in the capital market includes. Exactly. All of the above makes sense, and it is right choice. Indian financial system is a link between. Excellent choice. Borrowers and seekers of fund is the right answer. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 mandates. On track. Corporate officers must personally certify financial statements in writing is the correct answer.
Financial market dash financial assets.
Right choice. Creates an exchange is the best answer.
Components of Indian financial system.
Smart move. All of the above is an accurate answer.
Financial market is classified into.
Well-reasoned. Organized and unorganized market is the correct choice.
Money market institutions are dash.
Sharp thinking. Commercial banks and discount houses is the right choice.
What is a financial institution?
You got it. Your choice, an intermediary that helps channel savings into economic investments, is right.
A capital market is ideal when.
Valid point. All of these is true.
Primary and secondary markets. You chose complement each other. And it is correct.
Bonds and shares are traded in.
Well picked. Capital markets is the correct answer. What does FINRA stand for?
Perfect. Financial Industry Regulatory Authority is the correct choice.
What are these? Nice NASDAQ? Good thinking. Stock exchanges is the right answer.
Financial services includes.
Solid response. Leasing is a valid choice.
Financial markets exist too.
Great job. All of the above is the accurate answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Right again. Contact Narayan Changda is a valid answer.